Cereal time, cereal time, cereal time, whoa.
It appears to be random.
Just random.
It's too random to be random.
What's up, cereal heads? Today we're going to talk about a bunch of random cereal boxes that I haven't covered yet. It's sort of a catch-all to clean up about a dozen or so cereals that I never made videos about in the original Cereal Time run. I've done 2 random cereal box collection videos in the past, and this one's going to be similar, so let's jump right in. Now, the first box I want to show you and talk about is one that I've actually mentioned in a previous random cereal box video, but we're going to get a little more in-depth today, and that is the amazing Raisin Brand. This cereal was released by Post around 1987, only lasted on shelves for about a year or so. There were 2 varieties of this cereal. There was a honey flavored version and the cinnamon raisin one I have here. The mascot for this cereal was these 3 yellow characters here called Crunch, Crunch, and More Crunch. Since last time I showed you this box, I found a commercial for it online, so let's take a quick look at that.
At Crunch, Crunch, and More Crunch, the fight against soggy food never ends.
If I pour any more soggy Raisin Bran down the sink, I'll be sent to my room forever.
Hope you have a stereo.
Don't worry, we've invented a crunchy Raisin Bran.
Amazing Raisin Bran?
Yep, no more soggy flakes down the drain.
Amazing Raisin Bran stays crunchy.
Wow, check out these honey sweet rings.
I haven't been this excited since we invented potato chips.
We did?
New Post Amazing Raisin Bran.
It's got
Crunch!
Crunch and more crunch.
Amazing!
Now, in that commercial, you might notice it said it was only available in limited areas. So it wasn't available nationwide, but I do remember this cereal, so it must have been available in the Michigan region in the late 80s. Anyway, from that commercial, you can see the cereal's crunchy little loops there with raisins in the mix. The loops had a little more texture to them than I guess you'd say Cheerios, and they were made with oat, rice, corn, and wheat bran, so they had a nice crispy crunch to them. If we take a look at the side of the box here, you can see it's one of the main selling points for this cereal. Now let's take a look at the back of the box here. You can see this box came with a free prize inside, which I'm always grateful and thankful for. This one had a lenticular magic storybook where you could watch the pictures move with a little plastic screen that you moved across each page. I have seen another box of this cereal that came with a free eraser inside, but overall these amazing Raisin Bran boxes seem pretty rare, and I'm not sure how many of them were saved over the years. It's a cereal that didn't last long and only was released in certain areas of the country. It's mostly been forgotten to history, but I remember liking this stuff. Alright, let's move on to our next box, or boxes. We're going to talk about 2 Cap'n Crunch varieties from the early 2000s when the Cap'n was trying to rub elbows with some Nickelodeon stars. First up, we have the Rugrats Go Wild Berries version of Cap'n Crunch. This is a cereal tie-in to the Rugrats Go Wild movie released in 2003, which was a crossover between the Rugrats and the Wild Thornberries, which both have their own cereals I've made videos about here on Cereal Time. There's also a commercial for this cereal, but it's a little, well, here, take a look.
I want to see something funny.
I want to see an adventure.
Funny.
Adventure!
Funny. Adventure.
Hey, I've got the perfect movie!
Cap'n Crunch?
Rugrats Go Wild! That'll be in theaters June 13th.
You're gonna boo-boo.
And here's something new. Crunchberries shaped like Eliza Thornberry, Chucky, and Spike. You know, these new Crunchberries are the wild part of this complete breakfast.
Crunch ties me, Captain!
So you saw in that commercial that the box looked a little different than this one. It was just a regular yellow Crunchberries box with the Crunchberries shaped like Eliza Thornberry, Chucky, and Spike. But they actually did have a box like that, as you can see here. In addition to those 3 Crunchberries, there was also a palm tree shaped berry. But I guess at some point they wanted to go a little bigger with the theming, and they released this box. Now this pink box version of the cereal was a little different than that one you saw in the commercial. This one had no regular Cap'n Crunch pieces in it, just the Rugrats Go Wild shaped Crunchberries. And this one had pieces that would turn blue when you hit them with milk, and then they would turn your milk blue too. Let's take a look at the back of this box. They have a bunch of stuff to look at here. It tells you that your tongue will turn blue when you eat this cereal. They ask you to find 4 objects, a camera, a parrot, binoculars, and a map. They ask you to count how many pieces are outside of the bowl. And there's a spot the difference game with Chucky and Donnie. Lots of fun here. Cinnamon Toast Crunch should definitely take some notes. Now, the Rugrats and the Wild Thornberries weren't the only Nickelodeon stars that Cap'n was hanging out with in the early 2000s. He also did a collaboration with Jimmy Neutron. Let's take a look at that commercial.
Hey, it's Jimmy Neutron.
I am inventing the ultimate breakfast food with my Mega Man Metamorph. Cool! Carl, you're too close! How much for the ultimate breakfast?
Like, where's our breakfast?
Right here! My My new Jimmy Neutron Crunchberries. They're shaped like Jimmy, Cindy, and Goddard. It's the colorful part of this complete breakfast.
Hey, I even stay crunchy in milk.
Oh, Carl.
New Jimmy Neutron Crunchberries.
So again, you can see that was a yellow box with a bunch of Jimmy Neutron themed Crunchberries. And those yellow boxes did exist, but once again, the captain decided to take it a bit further and release an all berries version with those Jimmy Neutron themed berries. Now, these 4 shapes are Jimmy, Cindy, Goddard, and Rocket. And since I've never watched Jimmy Neutron, I have no idea who those characters are. I'm going to assume that Goddard is like a dog, and Rocket is probably the rocket ship. And this stuff was not color changing shapes, just regular Crunchberries. Let's take a look at the back of the box here. Again, a few fun activities. They ask you to find 2 stars that are exactly alike. They ask you to figure out which items do not belong in Jimmy's rocket ship. And they promote the Jimmy Neutron show on Nickelodeon and the straight-to-DVD movie that came out in July of that 2002 year. So there you go, 2 fun Nicktoon-inspired versions of Captain Crunch cereal that were basically the same thing with just different shapes. Let's keep it moving and move on to our next cereal now. This box comes from Quaker and it was released in 1979. It's called Halfsies. Why is it called Halfsies? Well, because this cereal had half the amount of sugar as regular sugar cereals. How did they pull that off? Well, they use aspartame, which is also known by brand names like NutraSweet and Equal. But Gabe, it says right there in the box that there are no artificial sweeteners in this cereal. You're right, it does. I guess in 1982 when this box came out, they weren't considering aspartame an artificial sweetener? I don't know, that's kind of weird. But anyway, let's check out a commercial for this stuff.
Well, how do you like my kingdom of half?
It's fun.
Know what we like best?
A ride in my half balloon?
Nope.
Has to be the half-day school.
This is even better.
Then it's Halfsies, my crunchy sweet new corn and rice cereal.
It's crunchy sweet, but half the sugar of most sugar-coated cereals.
How does it taste so sweet?
That's my secret. It's Legreen.
No, sweet Halfsies are mine.
Now what?
Half a car.
I don't care. I'm halfway there.
Half a bridge.
Whoa!
Nice work, kids.
Anytime, King.
For new Halfsies.
New Halfsies are a crunchy sweet part of this balanced breakfast.
3 new Halfsies books of fun and games have half pictures, tongue twisters,
Peck a pickly.
mazes,
You're stuck.
hidden pictures,
Half a fish.
and more. There's 1 book of fun and games in each specially marked box of Halfsies cereal.
So that was the Kingdom of Half. And the mascot is this king here on the front of the box who has an outfit that is half one and half the other, as you saw there in the commercial. The cereal itself was kind of like Quisp, but the pieces had little ridges on them, you can see there. And obviously this stuff had that artificial sweetener aftertaste. It wasn't great, it only lasted a few years until the mid-80s. In that commercial, they showed you some cool free prizes that you could get in a box of Halfsies, and this one came with the free Crazy Ball inside. Let's take a look at the back of the box and see what that is. So at the bottom there, it tells you the ball is 2 halves that you combine to make a ball, but since they're uneven halves, the balls bounce in weird directions. It also apparently glowed in the dark, and you can see a bunch of half objects here in this room with the king. Now this Crazy Ball is cool, but there was a prize you could win from Halfsies that was way better. Here, take a look at this commercial.
Boy, you sure do like Halfsies cereal. And this video arcade game I won. The real thing?
You too could win a
Super Hammer!
or Star Trek
Wow.
or Pango.
Wow.
Video arcade game. The magic motion poster and screen that tell you if you've won are in specially marked boxes of Halfsies. For a free poster and screen, write Halfsies, box 7922, Chicago, Illinois 60680. Chance to win is 1 in 13,000, and Halfsies makes it fun to try.
That would have been really cool. It says the chance of winning was like 1 in 13,000, which means I'd have to eat a lot of bowls of aspartame-coated cereal. But I wonder who won those arcade machines back in the 80s, and I wonder if they still have them. I loved it when they used to give away big prizes like that in cereal boxes. Now this next cereal definitely didn't give away prizes, and that's because it was mostly marketed towards adults. This is Most cereal from Kellogg's, and it was also released in 1979 like Halfsies. Now this box is from 1983 when they changed the font a little bit on the front of the box, but let's take a look at a commercial for this stuff.
I'll tell you, my Bernice knows what's good for me.
And what's good for me, too, like Kellogg's Most. It's different from any nutritional cereal you can buy.
Kellogg's Most cereal contains a multivitamin and iron supplement, the goodness of wheat germ, and the high fiber of bran, all woven into a combination of ingredients no other cereal offers, and a crunchy wheat taste.
Terrific.
With all that going for you, why settle for less?
Than most.
Oh, I'm sorry, that commercial put me to sleep. Are you still here after that snooze fest? Most cereal was essentially just a shredded wheat biscuit, as you can see there in the bowl. There was no salt added. It had wheat bran, wheat germ, wheat flour, and molasses, so it was high in fiber. You can see there they add little peach slices to the bowl there, probably to make up for the bland flavor of the cereal. But look, it was a different era, and they weren't trying to win kids over with this stuff. Let's take a look at the back of this box. Most tastes exciting. Does it? Crunchy whole wheat as rugged and exciting as the great outdoors. I guess the rock climbing and 80s dude with the mustache are supposed to convince us this stuff was great. Now I do appreciate this little comic strip on the side of the box. I mean, I don't appreciate it in the sense that it's funny, but I appreciate that they put something besides nutrition facts on the side of the box. I don't remember the exact year this stuff was discontinued, but I can't imagine it was around past 1985. It was a plain, boring box, but notable nonetheless. And look, this is a new, larger package, which is kind of crazy because you can see how small this one is, so I wonder what the old boxes look like. Alright, let's move on to another Kellogg's cereal now. This one is Fruitful Brand, released in 1983. I talked briefly about this cereal back in the fruit and fiber video I made, but let's take a closer look at this box. You can see they're leaning into the boring logo there in the front and the bowl of cereal with the ingredients of apples, dates, raisins, and wheat. That's what this cereal started as, honey sweetened wheat bran flakes with apples, dates, and raisins. The back of this box is just what you'd expect, another look at the ingredients, really going to the adult market there. There's a coupon to save 25 cents on another box of this cereal. Now, shortly after this cereal was released, they added another fruit to the apples, dates, and raisins. Can you guess which dried fruit that was? Well, you don't have to guess. Here's a commercial.
I don't want some wimpy tasting cereal.
If you want bushels of taste,
Fruitful Brand.
I don't want some itty bitty taste. Peaches, raisins, apples, and dates.
Fruitful Brand.
Did you say peaches?
Bushels of flavor swimming in the flakes.
Fruitful Brand has
Bushels of taste.
High fiber Kellogg's Fruitful Brand. Now with even more fruit, because we added
Peaches!
Bushels and bushels of taste. In Fruitful Brand.
bushels of taste.
Now with peaches. You can see this updated version of the box from the early 90s that had peaches up here in the description with apple, raisins, and dates. Although there's still no peaches on the front of the box there. You got apples, dates, and grapes, which become raisins, but no peaches there. Now this box came out right around the 1992 Olympics, as you can see from the back of the box here. They had this offer to send away for commemorative Olympic coins. You just call the US Mint and place your order. So I guess that's not really something you get with the cereal. It was just an ad for the coins that you could call and buy. That's definitely not as cool as I thought it was. Oh, and every time I show this box, I have to show the commercial from this cereal from 1988. It features somebody who would become famous in the following years filming this commercial.
Tony, what are you eating now? Fruitful Brand?
Yeah, it's peaches and raisins.
Hey, Tony, that looks good.
It is. It's Fruitful Brand. It's apples and dates.
You just said it was peaches and raisins.
Well, it was.
Don't lie to your father.
Well, now it's raisins, apples, and dates.
Didn't you just tell your mother?
Hey, it is apples and dates.
Give me the box, Rosa. I'll decide.
Only Fruitful Brand has so many fruits, you get a different fruitful combination in every bite.
It's peaches, raisins, and dates.
So we changed.
Kellogg's Fruitful Brand. It's never the same bite twice.
It's Joey Tribbiani from Friends, and I'm so glad he landed that commercial without having to say noodle soup while eating that bowl of cereal. All right, let's move on to our next box. I'm afraid I'm not going to do this one justice, so apologies in advance. But this is YuGiOh Cereal. This was released by General Mills in 2003 at the height of Yu-Gi-Oh popularity. What exactly is Yu-Gi-Oh? I don't really know. Well, I mean, I know it's a Japanese manga series that spawned anime, a trading card game, and lots of video games, but that's basically where my knowledge of Yu-Gi-Oh ends. The box is pretty cool though, with this shiny silver look to it. You have the main character there on the front, who I'm gonna assume is Yu-Gi-Oh. I probably sound like an idiot right now. And then there's this guy who looks like a villain behind him. You can see the cereal was little triangle or pyramid shaped pieces there. They say it's Millennium Medallion shaped honey sweetened corn cereal. I assume the Millennium Medallion is a piece of lore from this series. Let's check out the back of this box. It tells you about Yugi. Oh, so his name is just Yugi, not Yu-Gi-Oh. There's something about the Magnet Warriors and Exodia. I'm sure Yu-Gi-Oh fans ate this stuff up, figuratively and literally. On the side of the box, there's something about the Duel Monsters card game and testing your Yu-Gi-Oh knowledge. As for what the cereal tastes like, I don't really know. I was never a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh when it came out. I never bought this cereal. I found this box years later on eBay. I'm gonna assume it was like a honey-tasting, bland version of Captain Crunch that General Mills tried to knock off. I feel like it only lasted for one quick run in 2003 before disappearing from shelves. Next up, we're gonna talk about two different Graham cereals. Now, I know people from the UK and Australia like to tease us Americans for saying Graham instead of Graham. I'm sorry, it is what it is. Language is descriptive and malleable. There is no right or wrong way. But first, we're going to talk about Graham Chex. Now, technically, this stuff was called Graham Chex and Crispy Mini Grams, but I just call it Graham Chex. It was released by Ralston back in 1993, and it was pretty delicious. The cereal consisted of regular Chex pieces made with graham flour and sweetened with honey, and then these little graham cracker small pieces in there as well. It was a great combo and a great mix of crunchy and crispy. In fact, as you can see from the back of the box here, that was the main selling point. Some people like the crisp of the Chex and some people like the crunch of the graham cracker. Look, you have a father and son both enjoying a bowl of this stuff together. And then on the side of the box, you have both pieces yelling at each other with hats describing them. I kind of thought Chex pieces would be the crispy and the other would be crunchy. Guess I got it backwards there. Now, I don't remember exactly how long this stuff lasted. It feels like it was short-lived. I can't find a commercial for it anywhere. But a few years after it came out, General Mills released another graham cereal. This one was also delicious. It was called Cinnamon Grahams. It was released in 1997. Here's a commercial for this one.
Everywhere I look around.
You love cinnamon. You love graham. But they've never come together like this. New Cinnamon Graham Cereal. The crispy graham kissed with a sweet cinnamon glaze. A delicious part of this complete breakfast. One taste, and you and New Cinnamon Grahams will be together forever.
These corn and graham pieces had little ridges in them that were reminiscent of General Mills Ripple Crisp, which came out in the early 90s. If I had to guess, they probably used the same extruders to make this cereal, but it was a different flour recipe with graham flour and a blast of cinnamon sugar on each piece. They were so good, they had a rich taste to them, which is probably attributed to the milk that's in the ingredients here. I used to love these before I was lactose intolerant. The back of the box is nothing special, just talking about the flavor and combining both cinnamon and graham together. And then once again, you have a father and son enjoying the cereal together, just like the back of the Graham Chex box. I don't remember how long this cereal was on shelves either, maybe the early 2000s, but I'm sure people are tired of hearing me say Graham, so let's move on. Sticking with General Mills again for a classic, this one is Raisin Nut Brand. This cereal was first released back in 1987, and it's still around today. Honestly, I'm not sure why I never dedicated a cereal time video to this one. The concept of this cereal is very simple, but delicious. The cereal is just sweetened bran flakes with slivered almonds, and then they have these raisins that were covered in a nut mixture. I would just eat packets of these nut-covered raisins if they sold them. Here's a commercial for this cereal from 1990.
Raisin Nut Brand. Here we go again. Something new and I'm the guinea pig. These raisins are all covered in nuts. I bet you they're the raisin nuts. These raisin nuts are very good. This Raisin Nut Brand stuff. Well, you wouldn't like it.
Raisin Nut Brand. One bowl and you'll be ours.
Now, as you can see here, this box came with a free McDonald's coupon inside. Let's take a look at the back of the box. This is a fun throwback. Some of you older heads might recognize this McDonald's mascot named Mac Tonight. He had a head shaped like a crescent moon, he would play Mac the Knife on the piano, and he was pretty popular for a few years in the late 80s. This box had a coupon inside for a free 1 of 4 McDonald's items: a hamburger, small fries, soft drink, or frozen yogurt cone, assuming the ice cream machine was working when you went, and only after 4 p.m. In small print at the bottom, it says that cookies could be substituted for the froyo cone in California, Louisiana, and Minnesota. That's some fun McDonald's throwback trivia. And then on the side of the box, they had this offer to send away for a Betty Crocker catalog. Now, this cereal is still going strong today. I gotta say, I'm surprised it's lasted as long as it has when so many other brand cereals have come and gone, including the next box we're gonna talk about. This one is Brand News, released by Ralston back in 1988. They had 2 varieties of this cereal, the plain honey roasted version, and this one that came with real apple bits on the pieces. The cereal was like a crunchier wheat Cheerios with the apple flavor to it. It wasn't an amazing or memorable cereal, but the ad campaign for it was pretty awesome. It featured Abbott and Costello lookalikes doing a version of their Who's on First routine.
I just got some brand news.
Some brand new what, Lou?
No, not brand new. Brand news. It's a cereal.
What's its name?
That is its name.
What's its name?
Brand news. It's a brand cereal that stays extra crunchy in milk, and it's honey roasted for great taste.
So what's it called?
Brand News.
I know it's brand new, so what's its name?
I just told you its name.
Oh, I see. I'm getting nowhere with you.
Brand News. Funny name. Serious crunch.
Now, if you've never seen the original Abbott and Costello Who's on First, you gotta check it out on YouTube. It still holds up as a great comedy bit all these years later. I think Ralston was banking on the love of those 2 comedians to help sell this cereal. You can see here they had a contest to possibly win $10,000 by playing Who's on First. Let's see if we can figure out what that means on the back of the box here. So it explains that you could win 10 grand, 1 grand, an Abbott and Costello VHS tape, or a free box of brand new cereal. Or nothing, of course. Now, apparently there was a game card inside, and I don't have a picture of it, but from the details on the side, it says the game cards featured a baseball diamond. If the third base revealed I don't know, you win a box of cereal. If second base revealed what, that means you win a VHS. If first base was who, you'd win $1,000. And if all 3 bases had all those words on them, you'd win the 10 grand. It said you had 1 in 2.3 million odds of winning the grand prize, and a 1 in 230 chance of just winning a free box of cereal. Now, I do remember trying this cereal when I was younger, and I don't remember loving it, but that's still a pretty fun promotion. I guess it didn't do enough to boost sales because this stuff was discontinued a few years after it was released. Alright, we're almost done here. We have a few boxes left. We're gonna move on now to a foreign cereal that I wish we had gotten here in the US. This is XMen 2, the cereal. This was only released in Europe, I think specifically the UK. You can tell it's not an American cereal box because up here it has the weight listed in grams instead of ounces. This was obviously a tie-in to the X2 X-Men United movie that came out in 2003. Fun fact, internationally the movie was called XMen 2, which is why that's what it says here on the cereal box. And obviously that makes sense. Not sure why they called it X2 X-Men United here in the US. So what was this cereal? Well, I can't find any commercials for this stuff, but let's take a look at the back of the box and see if that helps. So you can see some of the cast members here on the side, and then they explain that the cereal is a caramel and toffee flavored crunchy X. You can see the pieces are circles with an X in the middle like the X-Men logo. And look, caramel toffee is an interesting flavor. I really wish we would have gotten this cereal here in the US, or at least I wish I knew somebody from the UK in 2003. I would have had this box sent over when it came out. I ended up getting this box years later on eBay. It's a shame Kellogg's couldn't get the licensing here in the US to make this cereal because I think it would have been a hit. Oh well. 2 boxes left, and this is another Kellogg's one from back in the day. This one is called Oat Bake. First released in 1989, this Oat Bake cereal came in 2 varieties. This Raisin Nut version I have here, and then there was also an orangey yellow box, which I think was a honey brand version. Let's take a look at a commercial for this stuff.
Just one thing that I want to know, what Oat Bake puts in one tiny O. So much taste in something so little, they even left room for a hole in the middle. Oat Bake tastes too big to be so smart. Brown sugar, cinnamon, raisins and dates, golden honey, hazelnuts, Oat Bake tastes great. Kellogg's Oat Bake, quite a paradox. Such a big taste, such a small box. Oat Bake tastes too big to be so small. Oat Bake tastes too big to be so small.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how to feel about that commercial. I don't know why they went with the Sebastian from Little Mermaid strong accent Caribbean vibe. Maybe they were just hoping it was a catchy jingle that people would start singing. Anyway, this cereal is basically like a mini version of Cracklin' Oat Bran, which came out a year earlier. It wasn't identical in ingredients, but it was pretty close in texture and shape to Cracklin' Oat Bran. I guess this version had raisins and hazelnuts to kind of change the flavor up a bit, but I'm not really sure what Kellogg's was going for with this. I mean, to be fair, I really like this stuff just like I like Cracklin' Oat Bran. I'm just not sure why they didn't fold this under the Cracklin' Oat Bran umbrella. Now on the side of this box, they give you the recipe for serving this cold cereal as a hot cereal. The back of the box is nothing special, just a little story about W.K. Kellogg, how he invented cereal, and how they came about this recipe. This is just another cereal that was forgotten, only around for a short time. It was tasty, but nothing really memorable about it. Alright, finally on to our last box now, and it's a variety of a Kellogg's classic. This is Razzle Dazzle Rice Krispies. This spin-off of Rice Krispies was released in 1997. Let's take a quick look at a commercial for it.
What's the best thing about Kellogg's new Razzle Dazzle Rice Krispies? Let's take a look. Is it the snappy new color?
Is it the snap crackle pop? Or is it the sweet new taste?
Whoa! Looks like we have a winner.
Yep, it's gotta be the sweet new taste.
Definitely.
Kellogg's new Razzle Dazzle Rice Krispies, a part of this complete breakfast that'll make your mouth run wild.
You got Snap, Crackle, and Pop promoting this cereal for its new look and new sweetened taste. You can see there on the front they're wearing sunglasses because they're so dazzled by the bright, vivid colors of the Rice Krispies there. They added new blue, green, and red Rice Krispies to the mix. And as for the taste, if you thought it was something crazy or fruity, calm down. It was just a lightly sweetened version of Rice Krispies. I remember getting this stuff and expecting like a blast of flavor or something, but it was just like they coated the regular Rice Krispies in a sugary sweet glaze. Which wasn't bad, it was better than regular Rice Krispies to me. Let's check out the back of this box. Up top, they show the trio heading to Hollywood to promote this new Razzle Dazzle cereal. And then at the bottom, there's the offer to send away for a set of Snap, Crackle, and Pop plushies. And if you've watched my videos over the years, you already know that I own these 3 plushies. Snap, Crackle, and Pop. I didn't actually send away for these back in 1997. I only got these a few years ago on eBay. Also on the front of the box, you can see it was being sold for a special price of $1.99. In today's dollars, that would be about $3.93 for this 13-ounce box of Rice Krispies. And you'd be hard-pressed to find a family-sized box of Rice Krispies for under $4. So it just goes to show you these companies are price gouging and charging way more than they need to these days. But don't get me started ranting about that. Okay, so that's it. Honestly, I don't think I have many more boxes in my collection that I haven't covered in some form here on Cereal Time. But if there's an older cereal that I haven't talked about you'd like to see me talk about, please let me know in the Patreon comments. And again, thank you all for supporting. We'll see how this Patreon experiment plays out and if it lasts. But while I am doing it, don't forget there's a new bonus roll for cereal on the 15th of this month, and then we're going to do another live at the end of the month. Alright, as always, thank you for watching, and until next time, stay crunchy. Snap, crackle, pop, Rice Krispies!
Cereal